Hello everyone! Let's get started on our final version of our Van Gogh inspired sunflower art. We have our handout here to help us with some different sunflower varieties and our 12 by 18 piece of paper. Let's visualize how big is this vase. It's going to take up about half the page with the flowers taking up the other half. In the middle of your paper, draw a slight smiley face curve. This is going to be the top of the vase. Now, think about what shape the vase is going to be. You need the vase to be symmetrical, meaning it's the same on both sides. There's a lot of different shape options though, so you can decide what you want to do. Think about how far down the vase is going to come on your paper, and constantly look to make sure that those sides are matching. If it doesn't seem like it matches, you can just keep trying. Don't connect with a straight line. We're going to connect with a curved line, trying to show it's three-dimensional. Keep an eraser handy for any eraser marks. Remember, draw light. Let's envision where the table line is going to be. If we put the table line too low, the vase will look like it's on the side and going to tip off. So we're drawing the table line up a little higher, connecting it so it appears to go behind the vase. It also acts like almost a horizon line. Now I'm going to clean up some of my markings and start to plan out my flowers. Each of these flowers can be started with a circle. So, starting in an overlapping fashion, you're going to put in some just light circles of different sizes to show where you want those sunflowers to go. Our hope is that our sunflowers are going to look different, so we're going to have a variety. Feel free to look through the worksheet. We have 12 different sunflowers in this handy packet we got from Painted Paper Art. A lot of the flower making is just using lines and repeating them. So you can see this line is a scallop line and it just repeats. When we're drawing flowers close to each other, the petals are going to bump into each other. So when you start to notice that happening, you'll just stop whenever your petal touches another flower. This will help create the illusion of overlap. On painting day, we're going to begin by painting the wall color first. So I'm turning my art upside down. We have our paint trays here, and we're going to make sure we don't mix the colors in the tray. You want to kind of plan out which colors you're going to need for the flowers and use a color that you're not using for the flowers for the background. So in my case, I'm going to use blue. So with a smaller brush, I'm going to try to get into these openings in between the petals. For this part, it's okay if you go over your lines a little bit. We're just going to kind of take our time. We are using a dry brush technique. So dry brush technique means you will not have any water on your table. And the reason why we're doing this is so that as we're working, you're going to have little hints of other colors in your brush. It's going to help add to a textured look and just lend itself a little bit more to Van Gogh's style. So you can see I started with a darker blue, finished with a lighter blue, and tried to blend it while the paint was still wet. When you want to switch colors, you're just wiping off the excess paint. So you can wipe it on your placemat or you can wipe it on a paper towel. Just try to get as much off as you can so the brush feels dry. All right, choose a vase color. Again, something you're not going to use for your flowers. And start slow so you can try to paint in between the petals the best you can. When you're painting this, you're going to notice some of that blue paint is probably still stuck on my brush, and that's okay. We want to add that in there just so that way you can see it. We're going to add in a table color. And in this project, it is nice to try to do some layering or blending. So if I have this kind of golden colored table, I might blend in some few different shades of brown to make it look more like it's a wooden table. So feel free to kind of use your brush to create some neat textures in your artwork. Our next thing we're going to be painting is the middle of the sunflowers. So try to use maybe a couple different shades of brown and paint all of those inside circles first. And then wipe off your brush and think about what colors are you using for your flowers. So with the sunflowers, we might be using this kind of darker cold color, some yellows, maybe even some oranges. Remember that we are still not using water. You're just going to wipe off your brush, and it's okay to have the colors mix a little bit on the paper. For some of these petals, your lines, your pencil lines are going to show through, and don't worry about that right now because at our final step, we're going to be using a black oil pastel to trace. Just try to focus on getting all the colors you want. When you're done with flowers, you can go back in and paint any of the little leaves or stems. Final day. We're going to take a black oil pastel, and this is where we're really going to make your drawing pop. You're going to slowly trace all of your flowers, the stems, the leaves, and the vase. It's going to feel kind of like a lot, but when you are done, it's going to make your flowers stand out. All of your lines are going to look nice and crisp, and we'll be able to see this beautiful picture from all the way across the hallway. Nice job on these.